Hi, everybody. So nice to see you today. I hope you're doing well out there. Welcome to this installment of Raising Readers. I'm Nydia Hahn, and I am so excited to be hosting today because we love to read in our family, and we're excited to have this opportunity to share our love of books with all of you. We have two other wonderful guests today. Victoria Wylie is the Literacy Coordinator for the City of Philadelphia's Office of Children and Families. She is also the South Philadelphia Reading Captain for the Free Library of Philadelphia. She's going to talk to us about how to inspire kids to read. She also has some great free resources for families necessary, especially during the pandemic right now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Victoria until I see her come on right here. She is a youth and education champion, an advocate, and lifelong Philadelphian. She's also a Penn grad and once again currently the literacy coordinator for the City of Philadelphia's Office of Children and Families. Since I promised you I would. Hi, Victoria.
Hello.
So nice to see you. I'm so sorry that I didn't recognize the name of your Instagram account there.
It's fine. No worries.
So give me 1 second. I'm just going to read the very beginning of this book. In one itty bitty corner of our great big world is our teeny tiny classroom filled with happy boys and girls. Can you guys see these pictures?
I love the representation in that book. It's awesome.
Isn't it great? Each one of us is different because what fun would it be if I looked like my classmates and they all looked like me? So this is a celebration of diversity. And we just talked to the author, Lindsay Davis. You were probably on when we were doing that. But Victoria, welcome to the conversation, Raising Readers.
Thank you.
Now, you are a South Philadelphia reading captain, right?
I am.
What does that mean?
What does it mean? It means to be the light for reading for young people. Reading was an escape for me. I love to read. It was like my first trip out of the country. It was my first vacation. So I just really enjoyed reading. So for me, being a reading captain is showing young people that you can do so much through reading.
You know, sometimes it can be hard, especially in this world of devices, to get kids to sit down and engage and really understand the joy of reading. So what advice do you have for families and caregivers out there who are struggling?
So I think what we have to understand, and I think the pandemic has allowed me to, you have to give yourself grace and give the young people that you love and care about and are working with a little grace. So we can't take the devices completely away, but we have to mix. A perfect mix is what I would say. So maybe putting the captions on when they have the device and having a mixture of both the action, but the words as well, and seeing how they take that. So not taking it away, but just blending and mixing.
I know that Epic is one of the resources, one of the websites where you can find some of those books where you can either just read along with your eyes or have the audio and have someone sort of read it to you. Do you have any other websites or ideas where people can go?
When I was a teacher, I love. Young people do not do enough informational text reading. So I love a site called News ELA. It was a site where I could get grade level resources for young people from K through high school. And you could put Lexile levels in there and you can assess them through some of the questions. So I really live by and love News ELA because it was real stuff happening. So it was current events, things that young people are interested in and they could learn about. So they're getting informed about what's happening, but also engaging in reading and literacy.
That's wonderful. I hadn't heard of that before. So newsela.com, you think?
Yes.
Okay. And
it's free, but you can sign up for a subscription as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Anything else that you want to let people know about?
So right now there are tons of resources throughout the city. There are many organizations within the city that is doing and promoting literacy. One being Mighty Writers. They are champions. So if you have not heard of Mighty Writers, look out for them. They're doing a lot of work.
They are a great organization.
Yes, Read by Fourth is doing amazing work. And the city's Office of Children and Family is dishing out and doing a lot of work. So just Google literacy resources in Philadelphia, and you will find tons of things. But there's a lot out there, and a lot of people are doing work with literacy right now.
And the free library buildings are closed, but you can still borrow books and other resources online, right?
Yes, and book borrowing is free. So I don't know if you heard, but they suspended all of the fines for folks. So if you owed money or thought that maybe you couldn't get a library card, you can do that now. Some sites will be opening for the access centers that the city of Philadelphia is working with. But yes, the majority of our libraries are closed, unfortunately, due to COVID-19.
Any other tips you have for people who are really trying to get their kids interested? I mean, one of the things that I think about is I don't always necessarily totally agree with my kids' choices in books, but I also feel like whatever it takes to get them to read is probably a good thing. What do you think?
I think that's a great approach. Sometimes we don't realize that reading is not just reading words on the page. Literacy is built up on so many things. So sometimes just showing them pictures and allowing them to create a story that they want or make up the story as they're going is awesome. Asking them what things are, building their vocabulary. Reading really stems from the ability to build vocabulary. When you put words together, that makes sentences, which essentially are what we read off of our stories and from paper. So if you could just really build them up. Some young people don't want to, so maybe give them some cool words, or maybe give them words that they don't know how to say. I used to work with a guy. He was a security guard at a school, and he noticed the young people didn't like to read. So he introduced some words that were like really, really long, and no one could pronounce them, and the young people loved them. And he did the word of the day challenge with them, and that activated and encouraged them to do some reading.
That's awesome. He was a security guard and he took that on?
He took it on.
That is an awesome story.
All hands on deck. I think we all have a place and a role in this. So just realizing that, everyone can add to it. You don't have to be a formal teacher. You don't have to be someone who has formal training. You could add to a young person's ability to be literate and to love reading. So I think we all have a place in it.
Something else I've found in our household that is kind of helpful? We've actually had our kids write their own stories and make their own books. And I think that has sort of further ignited their love and appreciation for books in general and books written by other people.
So when I was a school teacher, when I was teaching the young people the parts of a story, right? So I had them write their own stories. They did covers, they did illustrations, and we hung them up. And I taught 7th and 8th grade. And I don't think it's ever an age where it's too young for them. Young people like to see what they produce in front of them. So we would display their stories. They would read their stories. I think that's a great approach. Allowing them to finish a story is a great idea. Maybe giving them the middle and them coming up with the beginning or the end. Anything. Get creative with it. There's no right or wrong right now. It's just meeting people where they are and allowing them to explore. I really think that works.
And what are some of your favorite books for kids of any age?
Oh my goodness.
There's so many, right?
I love, of course, Dr. Seuss. That's a classic. But one of my favorite stories is The Very Hungry Caterpillar, of course. Because it taught you when you were younger the alphabet, but also it exposed you to all the different things that started with those letters. That was one of my favorites. Another favorite of mine is The Day the Crayon Quit. I think the reason why I love that is it's a lesson for adults, right? To never give up, right? They might can't see you because you're light and pink, right? But you can get another color. So I just think the lesson in that book is really, really good.
And those crayons are so sassy. They just crack me
They
up.
are sassy. I'm not beige. I'm brown, right? So just letting them know, like, we all have our own unique feel, and we are all unique, but we all relate to. So I love that's one of my favorite books.
Yeah, it's so entertaining. Any other books that you can recommend?
I have so many books. So many books. What's one of the books right now that is So I have a nephew, and he right now is in love. He's 6 years old. He's really in love with all the Marvel superhero books. So that's another thing that we've been reading a lot of.
I love it. This is a little shift here, but I
Okay.
just so important. I do want to talk about just for a moment the Dante Wylie Foundation. I know that it was named after your beloved brother who
Yeah.
died in gun violence. Can you talk about how the organization connects with education and the community?
Whew. So I didn't know we were going here, but of course I can. So yes, my brother Dante was murdered in 2008, and for me, my personal belief is that a lot of the issues that we see with violence in our city stems from the lack thereof of education. So I just really I feel the greatest deterrent is educating people about their choices, right? So letting them see that that picking up a gun is not the only way to solve a problem. So for me, education is kind of the fixer. So people ask, how do we combat violence? We have to educate. We have to educate the people on both sides. So I really, really, really believe firmly in this idea of education. My brother was an entrepreneur, and he believes so much in, and not just traditional sit down and educate you with a book. I think education means a lot of different things, and we have to fix that. So we have to help young people to see that there are other options out there, educate them about their choices, their options, and I think our city will start to turn around.
Police Commissioner Outlaw just said something very similar to that last night. So I
Wow.
appreciate your words. Thank you so much. And I know that was going to a really personal place, but I just felt
Yeah,
like while people are listening and we have the attention, it was a good opportunity to talk about it.
absolutely. I think it's always important to talk about the things that are happening in this world, and I think to shy away from them is a missed opportunity. So for me, I got into this work so that other sisters and other families would not have to. And unfortunately, I know many sisters and many families who are now in similar situations. So I will continue to do this work until I can honestly say that I don't know anyone impacted by gun violence anymore.
And it is so aligned with your work to effort literacy as well. So,
Absolutely.
finally, just tell us what your message is again to families and caregivers about the importance to be raising readers.
The important reading is your passport. It's your ticket to whatever beautiful place you want to go, and just knowing that it is sometimes the very first time that you explore the world, and not get on a plane. So just understanding that it will take you places that you dreamt of and couldn't believe you could go, and just knowing that that book might just plant the seed to change your life. So you can be represented in the book even when you don't feel like you belong. So just knowing the importance of it.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better. Victoria Wylie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for your
having me.
beautiful words and your inspiration. I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to talk to you.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us, everyone, this afternoon. Have a great rest of the day and go out there and raise some readers. Bye, everybody.